Our second husband is Josh Tidwell. You heard his name in part of the presentations earlier today. Josh is the husband of a 2021 Leslie Week honoree, Cassie Tidwell. Josh is an environmental supervisor for a paper manufacturing company, but his most important job is a full-time dad to their 6-year-old son, Greer. Greer is participating in the program later on this afternoon. He's one of the choir members. You're going to have some wet tears when you see this group of kids. Prior to February 2018, Josh and Cassie lived like most people, traveling abroad, hiking, camping, frequently concerts, welcoming their rambunctious baby boy into the world and enjoying life. However, like many gathered here and worldwide, NBC changed that. As you will hear from Josh, parts of their lives were stolen. Parts of their lives were made better. Parts of their lives were made better. Good or bad, the constant was that they would be changed forever. Cassie is no longer here to tell his story. As you've heard several other speakers, we've had some passings, wings earned, but basically we're a few shyer than less than what we had before the year started. Josh is here to make sure her story is heard and celebrated forever. Please welcome Cassie's husband, Josh Tidwell, with his presentation.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for that introduction. As he mentioned, my name is Josh Tidwell. I'm the husband of Cassie Johnson Tidwell, a 2019 Leslie's Leak recipient. I'm also honored to be here today with my 6-year-old sons, who I hope you'll remember him by his singing voice here later in the program and not by his behavior, so keep my fingers crossed. And then also with my father-in-law, who couldn't ask for a better person, great father, great grandfather, and just a great friend. So thanks. I'd like to start by saying thank you to Leslie's Week. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for the sponsors for help putting this together. No, it's not easy to get all this stuff together, and you really outdone yourself. This is fantastic. Look at the setting that we're in. On the ride over here yesterday, Greer looked at me and he goes, "Dad, are we going to a castle?" And I said, "Absolutely, buddy. We're going to a castle." When Sandra reached out to me, I was a little hesitant about agreeing to speak. How in the hell am I going to find time, barely keeping my head above water as an employee, as a dad, as a soccer coach, a baseball coach, a chef, a school pickup, a school drop-off, a child psychologist, home repair guy, fill in the blank, you name it. That's me. But after she began telling me about what this event was and what she had planned, it just hit me during our conversation. How could I not do this? What an opportunity. What an opportunity to speak for someone who's not here to tell their story anymore. As Sandra and Stephen had mentioned, 2 people were scheduled to speak last year, and they were unable to. And Amanda, I can't thank you enough for speaking on behalf of my Cassie and our Cassie. I can't thank you enough for that. But the person, Cassie, she was supposed to be here, not me. She's supposed to be here telling her story. But in her absence, I am here, and I'm going to do the best I can to tell the story of Cassie and what a rare and wonderful human being our family has to navigate now without. It also provided me the opportunity to sit down and reflect on the parts of our lives that were unaffected by MBC, our lives before MBC. We're a little over an hour from New York City and Ground Zero, and every September 11th, as the calendar rolls around, you're instantly taken back to the vivid memories of what you were doing, where you were, even what you were wearing at that time. To hear that you or a loved one has cancer is the same thing. It's just that time-stopping event on a personal level, your personal D-Day, your diagnosis day. So many thoughts, questions, and worries all fall down upon you like a ton of bricks. Your lives are forever changed in so many ways that it is hard to remember what life was like before metastatic breast cancer. I used to tell Cassie over and over that she is the best thing that has ever happened to me. And when I think about our life before metastatic breast cancer, two specific stories kind of keep coming to me and stick in my mind. They keep rushing back to me. The first was going to a Halloween party way back in 2008. I went with my brother and my sister-in-law, and my sister-in-law had told me there was a work colleague that she thought I needed to meet. And so I guess it was somewhat of a blind date setup, but, you know, is there really such thing as a blind date anymore? Because as soon as she told me her name, I'm right on the social media. All right, who is this Cassie Johnson? I'm going to go see, I'm going to see what I'm getting myself into here. So, based on my research, I believed I was making a great decision. And it was at this party that I first laid eyes on a beautiful young police officer named Cassie Johnson. Smart, funny, outgoing, adventurous, and not to mention more beautiful than my research could ever suggested. From there, the story of Cassie and Josh began, or at least it did for me. She took a little more convincing, but that's neither here nor there. Over the next few years following that Halloween party, we spent our lives just living carefree and enjoying the company of each other. Living like tomorrow would always be there, or the next day if our plans didn't work out. Football games, concerts, vacations with family and friends, late night out downtown, often too late a night out downtown. You name it, and we were willing to do it, much like most of your lives now. The second story that comes to mind was 2013 on a camping trip to Yosemite. We spent 3 days hiking, carrying 30-pound backpacks up strenuous terrain. She never wavered, she never faltered, and never complained. I did all that for her. To her, it was just a trip that she had planned out just perfectly. I mean, everything just went to a T. But for me, it was an opportunity to make sure that I let her know how much she meant to me. Because, see, the week leading up to this trip, I'd went to my father-in-law in his office and sat him down, and I said, I want to marry your daughter. And he said yes. It was during this trip that I was going to make sure that I let her know how much she meant to me and that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. All along the hike out and back, we stopped at some beautiful places, some gorgeous places. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been there, but I would highly recommend it. Right, Lauren? It's a beautiful, wonderful place. Nothing that I'd crossed seemed like the perfect place. And then all of a sudden, we approached this waterfall, 600-foot waterfall called Nevada Falls. And I knew that was it. This was the place. This is where it's going to happen. So the only problem is that I'd walked over too close to the edge of the waterfall. And, you've seen the memes of this is why men doesn't live as long as women. That was me, and I'm glad she didn't have a camera at the time because I would probably be a meme for my actions that day. But nonetheless, as a matter of fact, she did tell me, she wouldn't join me there, but she did tell me I was an idiot for standing that close to it and I was going to fall off and get hurt. But anyway, I finally coaxed her over after some huffing and puffing and some choice language. I got her to come over, and I asked her if she thought this place was beautiful, and she agreed. And then I leaned around and I said, is it more gorgeous than this ring? and then I asked her to marry me. And she responded with an emphatic yes. She then proceeded to let everyone know on the 4-mile hike back out that we just got engaged. That 4-mile hike was it was downhill, but it took a lot longer because we had to stop everywhere. Every person we saw, their photos, and by the time I was never so glad to be done with a 4-mile hike. But at that time, that was the happiest that I had ever made her, and I will cherish that moment for the rest of my life. 1 year later, we were married. We had the perfect wedding, all planned out by her, of course. I just showed up. And then over the next few years, Cassie graduated and became one of the best dietitians at the hospital. I accepted my current job, and we were growing up together. We had found our person that we were supposed to spend the rest of our lives together. Nothing can stop us, and we were invincible. On July 4th, 2017, we welcomed the most precious thing the world has ever seen, our little firecracker, Joshua Greer Tidwell, or my little angel, as she often referred to him. Oh, great how our lives were. Little did we know, just a short 7.5 months later, we would be transitioning into the next phase of our lives. The phase that has made me have to sit down and think about what life was like before it. On February 22nd, 2018, at 30 years old, with a 7.5-month baby boy, Cassie was diagnosed with BRCA1 positive, triple negative, invasive ductal carcinoma. 7.5 months was all this first-time mother got to enjoy with her baby before experiencing her D-Day. This whole world, this whole life that we had built for ourselves was now seemingly crumbling in an instant. I took this picture here unassumingly just to send to a family member to let them know where we were. It's not from D-Day, but I chose to show it for this event because it encapsulates so much of what life with metastatic breast cancer is. As you can see in this picture, all the emotions, all the angst, all the tension, and all the disgust in one snapshot in time. At this point in the journey, it's not so much about the nerves, it's about the longevity of it. It's about the grind of this disease. Just when you think you've got things trending in the right direction, you're making all the right decisions, your plan is working out. Bam! You're brought back down to the ground because you now must go get a biopsy because there's suspicion that you have disease in other parts of your body and organs that you didn't have it before. As Terry mentioned in her speech, living with metastatic breast cancer is like having an elephant with you in every room that you'll ever be in. No matter how much fun you're having, how much you're laughing, how much joy you're experiencing, there it is in the background, just waiting its turn to make you remember that you're still sick. To remind you that you're so sick that this could possibly be the last birthday party, anniversary, Christmas, Thanksgiving, last anything that you ever get to spend with your loved ones. That life that you were used to, that life that you so previously enjoyed, that life before MBC is no more. Cassie once wrote, "Our lives are irreparably changed. Since cancer, I'm a different person. I cannot go back to the life I had before. Just in the past few months, in the calm, quiet, slow pace of being home with my baby, I've realized that I have a new, beautiful life. My heart is filled to the brim, and I have a purpose. Still, I would not wish this disease on anyone. Watching your sleeping child at night and hoping to see him graduate kindergarten is a tough pill to swallow." So what did she do? She made a commitment to herself and to her son that she was going to make sure he was going to succeed. She taught Greer his ABCs, she taught him how to count, she taught him how to ride his bike, and she taught him how to read, all before he was 4 years old. In fact, she didn't let a vacation get in the way because we often carried flashcards with us everywhere we went, and poor guy he had to study everywhere we went, and we went a lot of places, as you can see. Yes, we had to carry this burden around, but we were not going to let it define us. We were not going to let all this bad in our life ruin the good. We never know how much time we were going to have with each other, so we were going to make sure we made the best of it. We truly lived like tomorrow might not be there. Want to go on a week-long trip to the mountains with this group called Leslie's Week? Yep. Want to fly out some part of the country and visit a national park where we've never been? You know, honey, we really can't afford that, but when are we going? As you can tell by all the pictures, oh boy, how did we live? In between those dark and uncertain times, they were some of the best times of our lives. Greer is probably the only kid in his school, definitely in the kindergarten, that has frequent flyer points. She wanted to show him the world, and we did our best to make that happen. Whatever we could imagine, we did. We stripped life down to what really mattered, and the rest, well, the rest just really didn't matter, and so we didn't worry about it. Living with MBC also allowed me to find out more about Cassie than I previously knew. It allowed me to realize how rare of a human being that I had been introduced to, that I loved. Cassie had AB negative blood type. AB is the rarest of all blood types, occurring in less than 1% of people in the world. As I mentioned earlier, she had a genetic mutation called BRCA1. Mutations of BRCA1 are rare, occurring in fewer than 1% of women in general population. Breast cancer has been considered rare in your 20s or 30s. According to the National Cancer Institute, if you're in your 30s, your risk of breast cancer is 1 in 204, or about 0.5%. While two of these examples are very unfortunate, it is who Cassie is and who she was. God put this rare human being on the planet the way she is, and she certainly made the best out of the time that she was given. Even in the face of uncertainty, living with a terminal diagnosis, she made the lives of everyone she encountered better. Countless people tell me every day the impact she had on them and the impact she still has on them. For 4 years, 1 month, 8 days, we lived like tomorrow might not be there, until it finally didn't. On March 30th, 2022, Cassie was no longer able to continue her battle with this disease. She was no longer able to play with her 4-year-old son. She was no longer able to spend time and share stories with her family. She was no longer able to be the mother, the daughter, the sister, the granddaughter, the aunt that she was so perfect at. On March 30, 2022, our families were forced into our current phase of life after metastatic breast cancer. Life after metastatic breast cancer is going anywhere you want, doing whatever you want to do, only to constantly be thinking about how much your person would be enjoying it and how you would love to share this experience with them. Life after metastatic breast cancer is starting a foundation in your wife's honor to make sure that her legacy lives on, and so others in your community who are facing the same situation feel supported and loved. Life after MBC is fielding questions from an inquisitive little mind and praying every single night that I give him the right answer. Life after metastatic breast cancer is standing in front of a worldwide audience so that a son and a father-in-law can hear him tell everyone how special his mother was, how special his daughter was. Life after MBC is remembering that first visit with the oncologist. And the first question that she asked him, am I going to be able to see my baby go to school? Life after MBC is a mother not getting to see her baby go to school and walk in on his first day of kindergarten, not getting to see her baby lose his first tooth, These are all the things that life after MBC provides you from day to day. That darkness and grief that Mark will be telling about shortly. Parts of our lives, parts of Greer's lives that were stolen. Life after MBC is constantly reminding your son how much his mother loved him, and the things that she taught him will be with him forever. So son, Greer, anytime you count anything, anytime you read anything, anytime you ride your bike, you will know that that's your mother in you. She taught you that, and these are things that you never forget. Many of you gather here and on the live stream and around the world are in positions to eliminate situations like ours, to make every life a life just like life before metastatic breast cancer. Please be diligent. Please be steadfast. I saw firsthand what this disease does to the rarest, most headstrong human being I've ever met. Don't let this disease claim any more Cassie Johnson Tidwells. Thank you for your time, and God bless.